No one truly understood Mahoraga until Sukuna fought it. What looked like a spectacular battle of destruction in Jujutsu Kaisen episode 17 was actually something far more dangerous. The first time in history that a human-level being was forced to confront a creature that learns faster than death itself. Every slash, every strategy, every attempt to overwhelm, it only made Mahoraga more terrifying. That fight was not about who was stronger. It was about whether absolute adaptation could be stopped at all. And now, in the era of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, Mahoraga has returned. Not as a suicidal ritual, not as an uncontrollable curse, but as a weapon reborn in the hands of a new generation. Through Yuka Okatsu, heir to a bloodline capable of reshaping the rules of cursed energy itself. This is no longer the story of one monster. It is the beginning of a new balance of power, where the Zenin clan rises from ruin, the laws of combat evolve, and the future of the Jujutsu world may be decided by a being that never stops learning. Oh yeah, so we can keep interacting and making the anime storytelling world even more fun together. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments to keep the vibe going. Alright guys, let's jump straight into the discussion. Let's go. Everyone remembers Jujutsu Kaisen episode 17 as one of the most visually insane episodes of the series. But because the fight moves at a ridiculous pace, a lot of viewers actually miss what's really happening in the Sukuna versus Mahoraga battle. So let's slow it down and dissect this fight properly. The disaster begins when Megumi finally shoots Haruta. At the same moment, Sukuna, who has been closely observing Megumi's 10 Shadows technique, senses a massive surge of cursed energy and immediately rushes to the scene. When Sukuna arrives, he finds Megumi in critical condition. Megumi had attempted to defeat Haruta using the summoning ritual, but the plan backfired. Mahoraga struck him down instead, leaving him close to death. Here's the problem. If Haruta dies while the ritual is active, the ritual completes and Megumi dies with it. To prevent that outcome, Sukuna makes a decision. He will kill Mahoraga himself, instantly canceling the ritual and saving Megumi's life. But Sukuna's goal isn't that simple. He doesn't just want to eliminate Mahoraga. Sukuna is fascinated by the Shikigami, and he wants to one day dominate it and make it his own. So before finishing it off, Sukuna chooses to test Mahoraga's limits. At this point, Sukuna still doesn't know about Mahoraga's absolute adaptation ability. That's why he doesn't use his ultimate techniques immediately. Instead, he starts with a probing fight, purely to measure Mahoraga's strength. Mahoraga attacks first, swinging its exorcism sword. Sukuna casually blocks, then hurls Mahoraga away using cursed energy. They clash midair, strike each other, and are sent flying apart. Sukuna is so relaxed that he even chews on a snack mid-fight, clearly bored, and deliberately throws out light slashes just to observe Mahoraga's reactions. Mahoraga slams Sukuna into a wall, but the impact barely leaves a mark. When Mahoraga charges again, Sukuna flips backward, dodges every blow, and severs both of Mahoraga's arms and legs in a single exchange. Even when Mahoraga counterattacks and knocks him back, Sukuna remains calm, casually pulling one of Mahoraga's severed fingers from his collar with a relaxed expression. Despite losing a leg, Mahoraga never stops attacking. Sukuna starts mixing cursed slashes with raw physical combat, clearly outclassing Mahoraga in technique. The exchange ends with Mahoraga being violently blasted away. Sukuna restrains Mahoraga and throws it into a parking lot. Mahoraga responds by hurling cars at Sukuna. Sukuna casually smashes a luxury vehicle, then unleashes a massive slash that decapitates Mahoraga. That's when something crucial happens. The wheel of Dharma above Mahoraga turns for the first time. Mahoraga instantly regenerates and resumes the assault. When Mahoraga sends Sukuna crashing into a building full of civilians, Sukuna blocks with his arm and finally notices something is wrong. His attacks are no longer as effective. Mahoraga has begun to adapt. Sukuna bites through Mahoraga's sword with his dual-mouthed jaw and counterattacks. In the anime, Mahoraga is even shown vomiting, emphasizing the massive internal damage. Then the wheel turns again. Now, Sukuna fully understands how dangerous Mahoraga truly is. Mahoraga can now move freely even when restrained, expand its body when facing powerful threats, alter the nature of its attacks depending on its opponent. Most terrifying of all, Mahoraga converts the holy energy of its sword into pure cursed energy, which is far more effective against Sukuna's physical body. Even Sukuna's invisible slashes are now being deflected. Sukuna openly admits it. Mahoraga can now read his techniques. After the second full adaptation, Mahoraga's regeneration speed explodes. What once took effort to heal now recovers instantly, even when its body is torn apart. When Sukuna unleashes a storm of slashes, Mahoraga begins throwing its own severed limbs like weapons, exploiting its understanding of Sukuna's attack patterns. These attacks still don't seriously injure Sukuna, but the fact that Mahoraga can now counter Sukuna's techniques with new combat patterns proves how terrifying its ability truly is. Even with all four limbs severed, Mahoraga charges again and regenerates mid-movement. At one point, the screen briefly fades to black, not for drama, but to indicate that Mahoraga had smashed through the structure behind them, sending both fighters into a different building. The darkness marks the location shift. Mahoraga keeps using its own dismemberment as offense. When Sukuna slices its torso, Mahoraga throws a leg at him at the same time, followed by an arm. Its own body becomes a living weapon system. Realizing Mahoraga is reading his attack rhythm, Sukuna changes strategy. Normally, when Sukuna takes a certain stance, the slash follows instantly, and Mahoraga prepares to block. This time, Sukuna fakes the motion, delays for a fraction of a second, waits for Mahoraga to expose an opening, and then obliterates its body once more. But Mahoraga's regeneration is now too fast. So Sukuna shifts again, launching attacks in irregular, unpredictable patterns, making it harder for Mahoraga to counter. From the outside, it looks like Mahoraga is being toyed with. In reality, Mahoraga is actively analyzing and evolving, preparing for Sukuna's next strategy. Mahoraga's constantly swinging arms were not an animation mistake or random motion. That movement functions like a professional boxer's guard, continuous motion designed to hide the true attack angle. And eventually, Mahoraga adapts even to Sukuna's deception. It pretends to rush forward, baiting Sukuna into slipping behind it. Then, in a single instant, Mahoraga strikes from the rear. Sukuna sees it, and instead of being annoyed, he smiles in satisfaction. Because now Mahoraga is no longer just adapting, it is imitating Sukuna's own combat style. Mahoraga hurls an entire building at him. Sukuna casually slices it apart, even catching the severed wing of a passing aircraft and using it to slam Mahoraga into the ocean. For a moment, Mahoraga is trapped. Then it adapts again, this time in an extreme way. It drains the surrounding water completely so it can move freely. At the beginning of the fight, Sukuna's slashes tore Mahoraga apart with ease. Now the very same attacks leave only shallow cuts, until the wheel turns again and Mahoraga's body fully restores. And then the end arrives. The King of Curses claims victory. After fully understanding Mahoraga's adaptation, Sukuna decides the battle has gone on long enough. He opens his domain expansion, Malevolent Shrine. Inside this domain, anything with cursed energy is endlessly struck by cleave, while anything without cursed energy is relentlessly shredded by dismantle. Sukuna believes Mahoraga has not yet adapted to cleave, since most of the fight involved dismantle. But Mahoraga's adaptation is not tied to individual techniques. It adapts to the very concept of slashing itself. So Mahoraga continues standing inside Sukuna's domain. For a brief moment, Sukuna is genuinely surprised. Then he changes his attack type and unleashes his true finishing move, one that finally erases Mahoraga from existence. Mahoraga returns, the Zenin clan's ultimate weapon in a new era. What makes everything even more fascinating now is this. Mahoraga has returned in Jujutsu Kaisen modulo. This time, it is summoned by Yuka Okatsu, a direct descendant of Yuta Okatsu, through the bloodline of Yuta's long-lost son, Iori Okatsu. This is not simple fan service. Narratively, Mahoraga's return opens the door to a much larger story. From the very beginning, Mahoraga was never just another Shikigami. It is the final trump card of the 10 Shadows technique, a symbol of absolute power that no head of the Zenin clan has ever successfully controlled. Even Sukuna needed every ounce of his power and full understanding of Mahoraga's adaptation just to erase it. Now Mahoraga appears again in a new era, in a world where cursed systems have evolved and threats are growing more complex. Its role naturally escalates, not merely an unstoppable monster, but the ultimate strategic weapon of the Zenin clan. Unlike Megumi's era, where Mahoraga functioned as a suicidal ritual, Yuka summons Mahoraga under far more stable and controlled conditions. This suggests Mahoraga has undergone some form of contract evolution, through modified rituals, deeper mastery of adaptation, or even the fusion of Zenin and Okatsu techniques. The Okatsu bloodline itself possesses extraordinary cursed resonance. If Yuta could create phenomena like Rika and unprecedented cursed contracts, it is entirely believable that Yuka could unlock a new path to controlling Mahoraga, not through brute domination like Sukuna, but through cursed synchronization. This is what allows Mahoraga to shift from a destructive entity into a directed, living weapon. The Zenin clan lost its standing after the collapse of its old structure and the deaths of its elites. But with Mahoraga back in the world, the clan's position within Jujutsu society could rise dramatically. Mahoraga is not just a Shikigami. It is a balance of power between clans, a symbol of political legitimacy in the Jujutsu world, a core weapon for the next generation's cursed wars. If Mahoraga can be controlled, even partially, the Zenin clan instantly becomes a central pillar of the Jujutsu world again, potentially surpassing even the historical dominance of the Gojo and Kumo clans. And here's the craziest part. Mahoraga is not static. It learns from every single conflict. That means every battle Yuka fights only makes Mahoraga more impossible to defeat. At some point, Mahoraga may evolve into something that even surpasses what Sukuna once faced. If modulo's story direction stays consistent, we are likely heading toward Mahoraga confronting cosmic-level threats or god-tier cursed entities. Adaptation that extends beyond physical attacks into techniques, domains, and even the laws of reality. Mahoraga becoming the decisive force in the final war of the Jujutsu world. In short, bro, Mahoraga is no longer just a Shikigami. It is being shaped into the absolute weapon of the new era, in the Zenin clan, through Yuka Okatsu, and possibly long before through Iori Okatsu, is preparing to reclaim the throne of the Jujutsu world. Thank you so much for sticking with the story till the end. If you have any questions, feel free to write them down in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.